Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome. Hope all is well. Glad you're here. We're doing another episode on advice for 20-year-olds. Maybe you're my age. I'm 29. Maybe you're older. Just remember that iron sharpens iron. I'm simply sharing my experience, my advice, what I did, what I would do if I could go back. Now, let's talk about the streets, today's music and movies. When I went to Job Corps, which is a nationwide program, I went to Job Corps after high school. The first time I went was in Connecticut. I went AWOL during Christmas break. They sent everybody home on Christmas break, and I never went back, which is one of the biggest regrets that I have. I've gotten over it, but you get the point. Now, why do I regret it? So, when you're young, early 20s, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, up to your mid-20s, you want to live life. And something that I thought about earlier, before we get into it, is you either work hard in your early 20s so you can reap the rewards later, or you can have fun in your early 20s and then work hard later and then reap the rewards later. Now, I grew up different. I lived in a lot of different states, mostly cities. Parts of Pennsylvania. I lived in Orlando, Florida. A little bit after Job Corps, I was living close to Providence, Rhode Island for a couple of years. And everybody likes that flashy life, man. They want to ride around, blast music, smoke weed. This is a cigar. I just like the little ones. But smoke weed, drink, and eventually pop pills, eventually sniff. Now, unfortunately, you have people who want to sell as if they have no freaking choice. That's my problem with my peers growing up, and even nowadays. Some people don't change, but in the past, I've always looked at people like, why are you doing this? As if you don't, like some people act like they don't have a choice, and that's why I be making these videos, and I post it on my personal social media. I tell people, take that class, get your certificate, get your license, become a licensed electrician, a licensed plumber, a licensed carpenter, a licensed nurse, a licensed mechanic. You know what I mean? Go to the gym, go to church, go to the event. You know what I mean? You don't have to party every single weekend and do drugs and drink like you have nothing else to do. So that's the peers that I had. Don't get me wrong, there's good ones out there, but since I've been doing good lately, you stay away from people that blow their money on partying, doing drugs, drinking, thinking that they're savages when they're not. You know what I mean? Some people have a pistol illegally and they can't even train with it. They think they're John Wick. Some people think they're freaking sharpshooters just because they have one of these. I'm licensed to carry, and ever since I've been going to the range, I got a nice reality check for myself and others. It is hard to fire or use a handgun. It's hard, especially if you're in a conflict where you're moving and your target's moving. Most people are gonna miss unless you've been to the military or unless you've been training. So anyways, yeah, when I left Job Corps, I regretted it, man. I wanted to be lit. I wanted to go out, smoke weed, blast music, think that I'm a freaking savage when, realistically speaking, we were a bunch of ignorant, dumb people with, I would say, lack of guidance, but the reality is people ignore the guidance. Some people be like, he's lame. But they don't realize that we're trying to lead by example. So as you can see, I'm in my work clothes. I went to the gym. It's 9:47 p.m. and I'm just planning ahead. I'm sharing advice. So you and the next person doesn't make that mistake that I made in my early 20s. Because like I said earlier in the video, you can have fun in your early 20s and then end up working hard later and get your rewards way later. Or you can work hard in your 20s, early 20s, and reap the rewards in your 30s. Not even. If I could go back, 20 years old, and I went to Job Corps after high school, so I was like 18. If I had stayed, I would have been doing construction work, getting good money for a couple of years, which would mean I would be about 22, 23. That's a lot of experience right there, even though you're young, early 20s, but the sooner you do it, the better. If you're my age, I'm 29, maybe you're older, just remember for yourself and maybe your family member, your loved one, your friends, kids, the sooner you do it, the better. The sooner you go to the gym, the better. The sooner you take that class, the better. The sooner you get your license certificates and become registered to the state, the better. The sooner you start training, the better. The sooner you read books and take notes, like I try to tell people, you take notes so you can go back and be like, oh, you see the progress that you made, such and such. It's funny because I went to my storage unit yesterday, I think, or the other day. I went into my storage unit. I was scrambling around trying to find somebody's number. I found it, but I saw some old notes and it helped me receive clarity, you could say. It helped me look at the progress that I made from that time to now. I was a young punk, you could say. I mean, I didn't really, we'll just use the word punk. You're acting like an idiot, you're being loud, you smell like weed everywhere you go. You have a pistol that you can't even go to the range with. You can't even train. I know people that have guns and they can't go to the range because it's illegal. They have it, they think they're savages, but they're not. You just have a gun and you can't even fucking train with it. Think about that for a second. Not speaking to y'all directly, it's just to that person and some people. Anyways, yeah, taking notes, reading books, taking classes, getting certificates, getting better for yourself will save you the trouble later on in life. So I ended up going back to Job Corps. Sorry for going off topic. I went to Job Corps twice. So the first time I went AWOL during Christmas break, I just didn't go back. A couple months later, I regretted it. I realized I'm hanging around with freaking clowns. There was a woman that I fell in love with that I wanted to prove my worth to. So it made me want to go back to Job Corps. Falling in love sometimes makes you want to do better. For yourself and for your lover, the person that you love. As a man, when it comes to love, relationships, you want to be fruitful. What I mean by that is you not only give this person a good time, you are able to stop, be patient, listen, put a spare tire on if you need it. You can fix the kitchen sink. You can replace the ceiling fan or the light outside of your house or in the hallway or in the room. You could fix the window, you know what I mean? Or you know how to take out the window, clean the outside, and put the window back in without it falling. You know how to build it, you know how to fix it, and you know how to potentially destroy it. For example, a remodeling job. You can't just demo the house. You can't just start breaking stuff, because then the house will collapse on you. Like I said, if you know how to build it, then you know how to fix it. And because of that, you'll know how to destroy it accordingly without getting yourself hurt or others. So as a man, you want to be fruitful to other people, to your lover, your kids, family. And yeah, I ended up going back to Job Corps after a year. I took it serious. I stayed, I took carpentry. I went to the gym. I read some books, and it set me up for success. I've been doing construction for almost 10 years ever since. And I'm pretty much about to run my own business. I kind of am already. I'm selling my skills to 2 different companies. And yeah, it's working out. Anyways, the point of this video, the sooner you do it, the better. And if you made it this far, you can see I'm at the dealership right now. I observe, right? I observe, I look at it, I compare. You know what I mean? You touch it, see if it's plastic. You touch the bumper, make sure it's metal. You know what I mean? Look for damages. You got to make time for yourself. Even if you have kids, you got to make time for yourself. A quick little 30-minute session. So, yeah, man, if you're somebody caught up in the city, caught up in the streets, everybody think they're in the streets because they live in the city. It's not true. Unless you're in New York City. Even New York City. It's not the 90s no more. It's not the 80s no more. It's freaking 2025. There's cameras everywhere. And that's my problem with some people, I have people that still think they're a savage when they're just reckless fools. So yeah, don't get caught up in the mix. If you're young, stay away from it. You can smoke weed here and there. And I wouldn't do anything until I got a couple months worth of stuff going on. Then you could maybe go out and drink and smoke and whatever the heck y'all people do to cope and have a good time. Alright, I'm gonna end it now. I'm starting to think about bad stuff that I don't want to think about. So I'm gonna end it here. Just remember, slow down. Take it easy. I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.